There's a fire, light the sky, your spirit is one with me. Your wings stand by the ocean, your eyes see everything. The slightest of your motions can make the continents ring. Yet in all your might and glory vanish from the sky. It's just another story. It's new man-made life. They tell of how you fell from the sky.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Free American Hour. I'm your host. I am Clay Douglas. And let me get this recording started. Alright. My guest today is Deborah Tavares, www.stopthecrime.net. And just speaking of that, Deborah, how are you, by the way?
Well, I'm fine, Clay. Unfortunately, our country's in tremendous trouble, so I don't spend one waking moment not recognizing what's occurring to all of us in the United States. And with my children, my family, my grandchildren, we are under massive assault, as I know you are there in Texas, Clay, and I'm here in Northern California. And I looked out right now, it's just, the sun is just starting to come up, and we are being heavily chemtrailed today, this morning, as we always are, and it has been increasing over the last year substantially. People are getting sick. It is a
I'm sorry? Hold on. Wait. Deborah, I lost you here for a second, I think. Whoops. Hold on, I got it here. Deborah, you there?
Yes.
Okay, hold on just a second here. Alright, just had to change some microphones, some speakers there. Now, repeat what you just said here. I'm sorry I lost you for a second.
Yes, it's daybreak here in Northern California, and we are already seeing the evidence of the chemtrailing that was occurring last night, and it's been very, very heavy here. More and more people are noticing what is happening in the sky. We're finding that obviously because the media has been completely subverted by the global elite power structure, that unless we say it ourselves and put bumper stickers and banner hangs on our vehicles, people aren't going to know what's going on. And right now, as you know, Clay, we were talking earlier, there's been war declared against America by the Illuminati, the global power structure. And people need to go to our website, www.stopthecrime.net, and read the 41-page document, Silent Weapons, Quiet Wars. That is a 1954 Bilderberg policy. The Bilderbergs are the power structure that sets global policy for the world. They believe that they are mentally more capable than us jellyfish brains, as they call us, and mere cattle that should be on the farm. Quote, those are their words. So I cannot stress how important it is for everybody. Learning is very, very painful, and moving out of this false reality that we've all been caged in is a rude awakening. It's a horrific awakening as you start tumbling into the reality of our existence here. But I can say to you that reading source documents is a #1 requirement to get on board and understand what is happening. It is the quickest way to understand what is happening. So on our site, stopthecrime.net, we have a list of source documents. It's the source document tab that you go to. We recommend that you first watch the video YouTube of the Iron Mountain report. It was a blueprint for tyranny. It's set up in a documentary format. You can download the document itself. It was a secret study ordered when JFK was president. Whether he knew about it at the time that it was ordered is unclear, but it came out of his administration. And he brought in experts, or they brought in experts, and they met in a nuclear survival retreat in upstate New York. And after a few years, they fashioned a report that came out after Kennedy was assassinated, but just prior to his assassination. And up on the website, you will see the actual full speech. But a quote from one of his speeches just a few weeks before he was killed. He said, "For we are opposed around the world by monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system that has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations." And for all of you that are listening, you are all aware by now, I'm sure, that the smart meters are being deployed throughout our country on every home, every business, every school, every building that had an original safe electric meter that showed what use you consumed of electricity every month. And the utility company would come out and read your meter. As you know, those are all being changed out to meters that radiate with frequencies that disrupt, slice and dice our DNA, and also spy on us, and will ultimately require that we all repurchase all of our appliances to those with RFID chips. And we know that the head of NSA said that these appliances will spy on us in our homes, and they won't need to. So this is all admitted. We're right now in a takedown of global intentions to collapse us into a one-world government. And this is a tyrannical takedown. It is a tyranny. And what this looks like, this one-world government, people are uncertain what this means. This is a complete and total oppression through technologies. And the New World Order is a system that recognizes no limits of its authority, with forced control over every single aspect of our lives, both private and public. And there is absolutely no regard for ethics, morality, or even life itself. They control, as we know, media and the politics, the economy, our speech. They engage in widespread use of propaganda campaigns and total surveillance. The system stays in political power through mass terror. When you look at the report from Iron Mountain on stopthecrime.net, you will see their plan of how they consider ultimate control of all of us through mass fear. You will see how in the 60s this demonstrates how they needed to create something that would become such a binding glue to keep society together so they could control us by creating mass pollution. So when you have a Spare the Air Day, because you're noticing all the jets flying overhead, there's no mention of any chemicals or toxins in the air by the EPA or by your air quality management control, because they're all in collusion. All of the alphabet agencies have been set up to shoehorn these global power brokers' agendas in. We are being stealthily taken over by lawless laws, and a war has absolutely been declared upon the United States, again, you will read in the Silent Weapons Quiet Wars document that there is a declaration of war upon the people of America, and they did not want the people to see this document. But you can see it, you need to read it, it's only 41 pages. Understand where we are. And keep those smart meters off your homes. This is a weapon that they are attaching on your homes. And Clay, are they deploying meters out in Texas where you are?
Not where I am. No, we won't let them do that here. But the information I'm getting is that they are sending police out to your home with the meters to tell the people that they have to let the meter readers own their property and put the smart meters on their home.
Well, that is absolutely true. We did hear what happened in Naperville, Illinois, just about a week ago, with exactly what you said. It also happened to my husband and I in Southern California with Southern California Edison. We advised Southern California Edison to remove the meters because many of our tenants were complaining of headaches and irritability and unable to sleep, which are the beginning symptoms of radiation and frequency sickness. And so we then removed the meters, and they asked for a meeting with us, which they canceled, and instead sent to 2 different properties police with the utility installers and took off our private property and reinstalled the biohazards. And we did not know that Edison had requested one of the police departments to pursue criminal charges against us. What I can tell you is that the LA District Attorney refused to hear the case because we documented this so thoroughly that any intention to damage their equipment or to steal electricity was not able to be proved. So they dropped those charges against us. And I can tell you that that happened last year. And at that point, we knew that this is a deployment. This is a takeover. This is for global energy dominance. This is being directed by the military. Our Department of Energy is under the military. This is a military sequestering of all utilities, i.e. by the global power structure, the Illuminati, the elite, whichever you want to call them. But I want to tell you something. I found this in some of my research recently, and it was this is an excerpt that came from a lecture in New York City in the winter of 1994. And quote, therefore, 1995 will be the year where massive doses of electronic mind control programming, thought intrusion, and brain biogenetic manipulation will commence in large scale. These projects are no longer experimental. They are fully operational, and field testing is over. And they say that because, in 1970, the government was testing frequencies on in a town in Oregon, and within a 48-hour period, there were a couple of dozen suicides because of the interference that frequencies can cause to our brains, and that was in Medford, Oregon. But I'll go on to complete this quote. So the projects are no longer experimental, they are fully operational, and field testing is over. The whole arsenal of frequencies will be unloaded on the USA, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and Mexico as part of stage 1 of the first protocol, to include Woodpecker, these are government experimental programs, to include Woodpecker, Buzzsaw, Videodrome, Subliminal, Sonic Pulses, Holograms, Visions, Voices, and strange psychokinetic phenomena. Beware of TVs, computers, movies, radios, and phones. Also, books, magazines, newspapers, and printed advertisements and posters will also contain encrypted, hidden, subliminal holograms. Now, I'll pause right here because you can go online and type in subliminal Illuminati symbols, and you will find cartoons over the years that we've been fed. I used to love Popeye the Sailor Man as a kid, And I never would have realized all the subliminals that were placed in my favorite cartoons as a child growing up that were leading us into a globalized fear and suggesting that we do as the government and as their laws require that we do. So that is another journey that everyone needs to take. But in addition to the obvious programming of commercial consumerism and marketing reason behind all the subliminals and electronically compressed information in movies, commercial television, Hollywood videos, radio, and telephones, and now encrypted in printed matter, this affects the brain's neutral networks and functions through select frequencies and their harmonics to diminish the will. They want to diminish our will, our individuality, and creativity. And they say that the protocols are intended to give, in essence, the commands of a
Recorded live.
All right, just added another recording here, Deborah. Sorry about that. I'd like to take just a moment here to comment on everything that you've just said. You know, you talked about the chemtrails, and you've got a website up called Toxic Sky. All of your links are up on my website, right below your name. And if you right-click on your name, and I think you really are to get this out, right-click on your name, you got the URL of the show. People need to know about this. Now, I've been doing this for a lot of years, and I have a film that I put out over 10 years ago called Chemtrails, the Video. That is still for sale at UFO Videos, and there really has been very little done since then to expose any more than I've exposed, other than the fact that we do know that some of the planes are based right outside of Tucson, just north of Tucson, and I helped Anthony Hilder make a film, and he immediately had a stroke. Kind of interesting, huh? There have been several attempts on my life, as detailed in Mystery Babylon, the New World Order Unveiled. They were almost successful in killing me and most of my business. I was hospitalized for 4 months, and I've been attacked on many levels since starting the Free American magazine and radio show. But I never imagined exactly how violent and what a blatant attempt to silence me and kill the Free American was until May 20th, 2004. These attacks on me have continued. Now, I've got that information up at the top of my website, right at the very top of my website. And I wanted to mention, I tried to tell people 10 years ago about chemtrails. I set up at a flea market in Phoenix about 6 o'clock in the morning, and they started spraying as soon as the sun came up. By noon, the sky was completely occluded. This is Phoenix, Arizona. No, not a cloud in the sky, but you couldn't see the sun by noon. While that was happening, I had the story about chemtrails in my magazine, on the cover of my Free American magazine, and I had the video out, Chemtrails, the video. As people came by, I said, folks, here, this is this article right here is in this magazine. Here's the video, and here's what's it's happening right now, folks. Right now, right above you. Look up, look up. Deborah, nobody would look up.
Well, Clay, all I can say is, with your repetitive awareness being drawn to society, I think more and more people have heard that echo. And now, because we are in the final moments of our survival as humanity, unless we can move more people out of the illusion and out from under the tramp of the media and all the mind control components that they now have in place, and get people off of their drugs and medication, and they've got to get away from the fluoride. We are being systematically poisoned, and we're being taken down by poisoning. They are numbing and dumbing us down. The fluorides, the toxins in our light bulbs with the mercury fillings in our teeth, the aspartame in our food supply, the GMOs. The attack is on. And everyone is starting to now realize, why are we having to fend off poisons in our food and water supply and in our air? Something is very wrong. Our economy is absolutely plummeting. We're being gutted and stripped financially. Everything is being sent overseas. This is happening, and everyone now is starting to realize something is wrong. And so what I have found is if we offer people a variety of things to become more knowledgeable on, something will resonate with them. I can tell you that many people now have bumper stickers that say YouTube Building 7. And so that gives people an understanding of what happened with 9/11. There are bumper stickers saying, look up, toxicsky.org, and we have a picture. And there are a dozen plus vehicles in Northern California that have these large magnetic signs that are the size of for sale signs on our vehicles. And people are giving thumbs up. We see people writing the websites down when they're in traffic. They're large so that people can even read them on the freeways. We are the media. And the minute that people start to look at some of this stuff, they start to move out of the trance. And this is what we are here right now doing on your show, Clay.
It's what Deborah, it's what I've been doing for the last 20 years, since 1994. I realized what happened at Waco was wrong. I mean, and the media was trying to tell us, somehow trying to justify killing 17 little children and their families, almost 100 people, and nobody's ever gone to trial for that except the people that were attacked. Now,
well, what's very interesting about that, Clay, is in the Iron Mountain documentary that's up on our site, they go over the social purification, and they show Waco and Ruby Ridge of the killing of these people that were never given a trial. This was one of the societal collapses of our Constitution, because these people were tried, sentenced, and executed through the media. And this is very important. This is the beginning of a massive media control of our being sentenced on prime time.
All right.
And to take that...
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You're absolutely right. And up here on top of my website, I've got some more links here, folks. What happened at Waco happened again and again and again. So if you are surprised and outraged by Sandy Hook, you are simply falling victim to another staged event, just like Waco, just like Oklahoma City, just like Sandy Hook. They are doing this over and over again. The goal, folks, is to get your guns. Now, in 1929, the Soviet Union established gun control. From 1929 to 1953, 20 million dissidents, unable to defend themselves, were rounded up and exterminated. 1911, Turkey. 1938, Germany. 1935, China. 1964, Guatemala. Uganda, 1970. Total defenseless people rounded up and exterminated this century, last century, 56 million. Now, the CTC, and this is again at the top of my site, and all of the links to Deborah's sites with all of her information is right there. According to a report from Combating Terrorism Center at West Point, anti-federalists who oppose a new world order, as well as members of several other far-right wing activist groups, are potential terrorist threats. Now, let me play you a little clip here. So I'm trying to make people, I want people to understand exactly how dangerous this is. What is happening, what happened to 60 million white Christian Russians when the Soviet Union was formed is happening here right now. And here is a clip from President Obama.
Indefinite detention without trial. That's what this is. That's what President Obama proposed today. If you strip away the euphemisms. One civil liberties advocate told the New York Times today, quote, "We've known this was on the horizon for many years, but we were able to hold it off with George Bush. The idea that we find ourselves fighting with the Obama administration over these powers is really stunning."
This is what they're talking about, is prolonged detention. We're talking about the NDAA. They would intend to use the military. They intend to declare all patriots, everybody like me. You heard about the red and the blue list? Well, guess what? I'm on the red list. This is Obama proposing. This is a few years back. And now we've got the report coming out of West Point that says, well, let's see, let me see how they put this. They suggest that anyone who has coffee grinders, coffee filters, goggles, and scientific equipment could be involved in creating CBR weapons and should be reported to local authorities. They have also stated that photographers should be monitored for potential terrorism, and this report showcases the exploitation of people like Timothy McVeigh and a small wave of violence from government with skin hand, neo-Nazis, KKK. They don't mention the Jewish Irgun or other terrorist groups or Al-Qaeda here. They're trying to point the direction at anyone that, opposes a new world order. Now this is fact, folks. This is West Point coming out on this.
Well, Clay, I want to add to that because, again, we've been forewarned. This has been foretold. We've just been made too busy, and we've had too much distraction intentionally inserted into our lives. They've intentionally, when you look at on our site, stopthecrime.net, under the source tab, you will also find NWO for New World Order plans exposed by an insider in 1969. And some of the topics in this document are everything is in place and nobody can stop the global elite from their plan. People will have to get used to change, and the real and stated goals are different. So they will tell us certain goals, but it's different. Just like with the smart grid, they're telling us that we'll be able to manage our electricity expense and cost more readily with a smart meter on our home. That is a false stated goal, as we now are all seeing, because the police are coming out escorting the utilities. They also talk about population control by a variety of poisons and toxins. They talk about eventually we'll have to have permission to have babies. They're redirecting the purpose of sex, and contraception will be universally available. We know that through the pill and through abortions, they're killing children all over the world. They will encourage homosexuality. Technology will be a major player in the takedown of people's rights and more control and absolute control by the global elite.
And
they also diminish the importance of families. They say exactly what's going to happen. They say they'll be suppressing cancer cures as a means of population control. They'll induce heart attacks as a form of assassination. This was back in the 60s. They're doing this now.
Yes, ma'am.
They are absolutely lining all of our major roads and infrastructure in the United States with cell phone towers and antennas. And you need to go to the site smartmetersorder.com and take a look at Barry, B-A-R-R-I-E, Trower, T-R-O-W-E-R. Look at his documentation and the documentation of thousands of scientists that will tell you that these frequencies are intended to cause us harm. It is weaponized. And then, Clay,